Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. I am your host, Tina Dawson, the owner of True Blue Designs, and we present to you the Inside Perspective. This show was created to showcase our awesome clients and allow them to give you their inside perspective on various topics. Now, knowledge is power, but applied knowledge brings transformation. And we hope that you find the information during our broadcast to be inspiring and informative. Now, True Blue Designs is a company that specializes in custom designs that can meet your branding needs. So whether you're a barber, teacher, coach, or business, we can meet your every need. Just give us a call. Now, before we bring on tonight's guest, I just want to say thank you to the viewers for allowing us to change our broadcasting schedule. Last week, we canceled the show so that we could all enjoy the inauguration. Last Wednesday, we saw history being made. We saw the 46th president being sworn in. We saw the first African-American vice president Kamala Harris, being sworn in. And then she swore in Georgia history, the first Black senator, Senator Warnock, and then the first Jewish senator from Georgia, Senator Ossoff. So on behalf of True Blue Designs, we just want to say congratulations to everybody. Now, last week, Georgia lost a legend, Mr. Hank Aaron. And yesterday, the Braves did a memorial to him, and today was his funeral. And on behalf of True Blue Designs, we just want to send our condolences to the Aaron family. Now we will introduce our guest, Mr. Ron Worthem. Ron is from Kinston, North Carolina, but he has been a resident of Atlanta for over 25 years. He has a background in IT, which allowed him to move over into the world of media production. Now, that's just a little about our guest, and I'm going to allow him to tell you the rest. Please help me give a warm welcome to tonight's guest, Mr. Ron Worthem. Hello, Ron.
Hello, Tina. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. How are you? How's the family?
I'm doing good.
How's the family? I said the family. I said you.
Hey, everybody's good. Everybody's good.
That's good. Thank you so much for being on tonight's show. You and I have been friends for over 27 years. So when you said you've been here over 25 years, I should have said 30 because I've known you for 27.
Okay. You give him too much information. You give him a little too much information.
Yes. But you have been a major cheerleader for our company ever since I first started in 2009. And I just want to say in front of everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done and all of your words of encouragement. So I really want to say thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
Now, we want to talk about this idea that you gave me in 2009. So when I called you and I told you what I was going to do, create a screen print and embroidery company, you gave me an idea of creating a business registry. So can you tell the viewers what that is and the importance of it?
Okay, well, I'll start off like this. You and I of course, we were having a conversation like we usually do about business and getting started. You were telling me you wanted to start your business. So I looked at it, and I'm not saying it's an original idea. It's just something I came up with at the time about a wedding registry. Now, with the wedding registry, you have it where people can, when you're starting a new life with your new mate, you can have things that you may need and place it in a registry, and people can order it for you. So, okay, well, I'll give them a gift of a toaster, or I'll give a vacuum cleaner, or whatever. So I figured, let's flip that toward business. Tina's starting her business out. Okay. There are certain things that Tina may need. Now, everybody's not going to come up to you and give you $5,000 or $10,000. Right. But there's so many people who can look at your registry. You can create a business registry of the things you may need in your business.
Mhm.
And someone can say, okay, I'll buy the paper, or I'll buy the pens, or I'll give you a computer. They can pick out from the registry the things that they can feel comfortable that they can purchase for you. And that was the whole purpose for the business registry.
Well, I think it was a great idea, and I hope that the viewers take that information. When you're starting off a business in the beginning, you do need help. And like you said, people can't, a lot of people, when they see you doing something, they want to invest or help, and they may only have $10 or they may only have $50, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the business registry is something tangible that you can actually send them, that they can pick from and said, hey, I can't, buy the laptop that you may need, but, I can actually donate $20, to your business, and that may get you XYZ.
Every little bit counts. Every little bit counts.
Now, as a result of that, I have a saying, well, I didn't come up with it, but obedience releases opportunity.
Okay.
And because I actually was obedient in what you told me, you became the first investor in my company, and I was able to purchase my first. Well, I was gonna say I was able to purchase something major in my company. So I thank you for that, and I hope that the viewers understand that obedience releases opportunity. I was obedient, and it released an opportunity for me. So I just want to say thank you.
Hey, I mean, Tina, the thing about it is, I know you, and I know the vision and passion that you have for your business. So it's easy to invest, whether it's financially or whatever, in someone, because someone has invested in me.
Right.
Over the years, I've had a lot of people invested in me. So we play it forward, as they say.
Well, I thank you. Now, two of the projects that I've worked on personally for you and your company have been branding. Just recently, you had your in-house designer recreate your logo. So I was able to do the project for you to create company apparel. Why is branding so important to you or to a business?
Well, branding is your signature. That is a signature sometimes people see before they meet you as an individual or as a company. So it is very important for one's branding to be, I would say, on point. You and I have a relationship as far as business that I can come up with the branding and you can facilitate the image along with my graphic designer.
Right.
So it's just very important that people, when you first meet someone and they have a certain brand, you notice it. You know Nike. You know when you see Reebok or whatever, or some other company, you know them by their brand, their logo. So to me, that is very important for me. And I had to pick something that was important to me, that's a part of me, and it shows how I think and how I move in the business industry.
Okay. The name of your company is The Left Side of the Lion.
Okay.
So can you tell the viewers, give us a little bit of the journey of how you came to that name of the company?
Okay. Let us begin. Well, the concept is not original. The concept is that I would start with the term heavy is the head that wears the crown. The process of Left Side of the Lion is there are two sides of the faces of the lion. There's the aggressive side that people see, and there's a somber side that people don't see. Now, in business, people think, oh, Ron's working with these people. He's got these celebrities. He's doing this. Everything is great. But they do not understand what it takes to go through that process. Right. They don't understand the late nights, the sacrifices, not being able to be with your families, stuff like that. They don't understand it. That is the left side. And the lion represents leadership. Right. So as a leader, you have to understand there's a dichotomy of life when you're doing business. And that's the premise of Left Side of the Lion. Okay. So tell us about your humble beginning. Now, I told everyone you was from Kingston, North Carolina. I'll drink to that. I keep saying Kingston, but it's Kinston, right? It's Kinston, North Carolina. Kinston, North Carolina. My hometown of Kinston, North Carolina. I love it. A lot of who I am is from Kinston, North Carolina. I've been in Atlanta for a long time, but Kinston is my heart, my family, my beginnings, my creativity has come from out of Kinston. Small town in eastern North Carolina, not far from Jacksonville and Greenville.
Okay.
But I was raised with two other brothers. My mom was a single mother, and I have two brothers, two older brothers. I'm the youngest. I would like to say I'm the youngest oldest.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like the term baby. I'm the youngest oldest. But shout out to my brothers Terrell Worthem Sproul and my brother Raphael Worthem and my rest of my family. But we're a close knit brotherhood. Also with my cousin Angela and my other cousin Russell, we grew up tight knit. We grew up family oriented, and that has helped me in business in a lot of ways. Because in business you deal with relationships. Relationships are very important. So my background has been a great help for me in business, and it humbles me too, because I understand where I came from. Okay. And you can get caught up in this industry of who you are, who you're around, or whatever. Kinston keeps me grounded. Yeah. Kinston, as they say, Georgia on my mind, Kinston on my mind. Okay.
I got you. All right. So I saw in your bio that you actually went to DeKalb. You're a graduate of DeKalb Tech. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Computer information. What can I say about computer information? That was one of the grounding factors of me becoming inside media production.
Okay.
I was working at a computer corporation, didn't like it, wasn't satisfied. So I decided to do my own thing. With the help of a friend who we both know, David Anderson, shout out to David, had a computer store. David started me out and training me to do computers. And once I got hold of that, it wasn't as hard as I thought it was. So he said, look, take some classes, go to DeKalb Tech, and be better at it. So that's what I did. I got into it. And I realized one thing, Tina, things weren't as hard as I thought they were. I mean, you think computers, people think, oh man, it's hard. How do you do that? But once you apply yourself and you have the right people around you, you'll navigate through a lot easier and a lot smoother. And that was a segue into meeting clients, repairing computers, doing computer work, networking. And that allowed me to meet some people in production. Okay.
So I remember those humble beginnings with David.
we shall never forget. And I appreciate David. Love him to death.
We're gonna put a pause right there. Okay, next question. Okay, so what services does your company offer?
We do branding, we do editing, directing, writing, set design, training, media training. We still do computers, do IT. You can't forget where you came from, Tina.
No, that's true.
Those are some. It's a media company. Media can consist of a lot of things. So that's the blessing of media. It ranges from computers to, I don't do music, but you can do music, video production, installs. I work with a company, Oversound Productions, does installs. So it's a gambit of things you can do with media.
Okay. Well, I want to say, for those of you, if you tuned in on time, you would have saw the brand new intro for our show. And I want to thank Ron Worthem and the Left Side of the Lion for our new intro. So that's part of media production. So I thank you. And it's awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Shout out to my editor, Jordan, and Time 7 Media.
Yes. Shout out to Jordan. Thank you, Jordan. I can't wait to meet Jordan.
That'll cost you. That's my private stuff. You can't.
You know what? You're too expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about some highlights in business, some memorable moments.
Memorable moments in media or in general?
In general, in your business, in media, either or.
Well, there's a lot of things. I was a media director of the Pepsi DJ Tour 2007.
Wow.
And I got that actually from a friend of mine who's now passed, Tim Melkor, God rest his soul. He allowed me to get on that tour without any experience.
Oh, wow.
Because he trusted my integrity and my work ethic. And I explained to him, I'm like, Tim, I don't know how to do this. I'm a cameraman. I can do set design. I can do several things, but I'm not a media director on tour, Pepsi tour. So he trusted me, and I, along with my friend Todd Bethel, he guided me through some pointers and said, look, you know this, you can do this. Went through the process, did the whole 12-city tour, learned a lot, I got the experience, and it opened my mind even more.
Wow. That goes back to what you were saying earlier about relationships. They're very important, right?
It's very important.
Yeah,
very
you can't get anywhere by yourself, and then you got to network and extend your hand to meet other people. And I think I was listening to something the other day, and they were talking about how your gift makes room for you, but your character is what keeps you in the door, right? And it's all about your character, right?
Do I have to give an offering? Do I have to give an offering now?
No, you know what? I'm done. Okay, next question.
and I agree. I agree with what you're saying. You are totally right, because a young man coming from Kinston, North Carolina, and I'm able to meet and be along with people who I would have never imagined, who I really wasn't actually qualified to do things. My character and my integrity has made a way in so many ways. That is an integral part of the company I have. Character, integrity. Regardless of the price, not saying we're cheap, but I'm saying quality is quality.
Yes. Okay. That's true. That's true. When I first started the company, I had a friend that we were having a conversation about something totally different. And out of the blue, he told me, he said, you know why you're going to be successful.
Okay.
And I said, what? And he said, you know why you're going to be successful? And I said, no. And he said, because your character is going to take you places that your money can't.
You're here.
And when that has been the truth. And if people trust you and if people believe in you, they will extend that hand and open a door for you. So, and you've experienced that. So, and I have too. So
now I will say this. We're going to be very realistic about this. There are times that character will take you, but you will have downfalls. Yes. People won't trust you, even though you're trustworthy. It's just sometimes that happens in the industry. You have to be honest. That happens. You can do the best job you can. It's just maybe that wasn't your job or your assignment at that moment. But you have to still stay focused on what you're doing.
That's true. That's true. So let me ask you this. What is the field in the city of Atlanta as it pertains to media and film production?
What is the field? Well, in Atlanta right now, me and my crew, we say this: everybody has a camera. There was a time when our cameras were thousands of dollars. Right. Now you got iPhones and people are shooting with DSLR cameras, which are the small cameras, and they're very talented. But I think there's so many people shooting and have cameras in Atlanta that you have a onslaught of media or of visuals everywhere. But the thing I do realize that there is no quality in the work. Now, I'm not saying I'm quality. I'm just saying sometimes when you study something, you can tell a difference. Yeah. Now, if you were to go to a restaurant and you say, okay, man, that looks good, I can fix that. And it may look like you go home and you get the ingredients and you say, I'm gonna cook this like the chef cooked it. He put time and energy and he researched this stuff. You're just doing it on what you see. So it seemed easy to you. Oh, I can do that. When you get into it, you realize, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was. Yeah, but true. Time and experience is what he has on his side. So in the field of production, you run across a lot of talented young people, a lot of talented people, but a gentleman told me this at HBO. One HBO executive told me this one time. He said, the thing about Hollywood is there's not a lot of creativity. He said, creativity is king. You see a lot of things now that are rehashed. You got the rehashed TV shows and the movies. Where's the creativity? And I think that's what's lacking, not only in Atlanta, but the film industry as a whole, the media industry as a whole. It's creativity.
Right. Well, I think they're saying that Atlanta is the mecca for media and film production.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
one. It's probably number 2 now. You still
Okay.
got Hollywood. You still got New York, but it's number 2 or 3.
Are there a lot of different sound stages here in Atlanta? I was driving through Lakewood one day, and I saw that there was a huge sound stage over there. So it sounds like it looks like they're playing it all over Atlanta.
Oh, there are studios. There's a lot of studios in Atlanta. Of course, we know of Tyler Perry Studios, which is a huge. I've had the privilege to tour in the studios. It's huge, and this is before they opened up.
Oh,
And
wow.
they were building more sound stages. They had 12 at the time, so they
Mhm.
were building more. So when you walk into this sound stage, it is enormous. You can create. They had movies being shot there, but there's studios in South Atlanta. There was Pinewood Studios in Fayetteville, Georgia. I don't know. I think they sold theirs to Chick-fil-A. But I would say on average, there's about 5 studios here in Atlanta. Probably more, but at least 5.
Okay.
So there's a lot of production being done in the city.
I know when you come out my subdivision on Klondike Road, there's a I'm not going to say a farm, but it's a house that has some horses and goat is what you mainly see. But often there's a yellow sign and a police officer right at the entrance. And I've learned that the yellow sign is basically telling you that there's film production going on somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
So,
Those
I know part of Greenleaf was shot at my church, Newburgh. I saw the signs out there. So it sounds like they're actually shooting in various places. I know a Waffle House. I saw a Waffle House locally that they were doing a scene for, a particular movie. So it's going on everywhere in Atlanta.
Atlanta is a great resource for production visually because you have the international city, which is Atlanta. You have 30 miles, 20 miles out is rural Atlanta. You have you want to do rural. You're not that far from the coast, which is Savannah. We have flights coming in from all over the world. So Atlanta can play roles. Atlanta has been portrayed and there have been scenes in Atlanta that you didn't know were Atlanta that were in other movies.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think Atlanta is a great place to shoot.
Yeah, Stacy says they're filming in Covington too. Covington, Georgia.
They're filming all over the metro. It's all over the metro.
Yeah.
And tax initiatives, that helps.
Yep, that's true. What are some challenges that you have come across in your industry?
I would say people studying the craft. Most people think it's just jumping in front of the camera. I'm cute. I can do it. Boom. I'm a star. No, it takes studying. It takes time. You're not going to know everything, but try to know a little of something here and there and study your craft. If you want to be a host, study hosts. You can get on the internet and do that. If you want to be a director, study directors. I run into people who want to do movies, but don't know movies.
Right.
Most of the time, the farthest they go is Spike Lee. They don't know, they don't know movies, H.G. Wells. They don't know a lot of things that people know as far as directors. They don't know of a Citizen Kane movie. What is that? This is one of the greatest movies ever, Citizen Kane. They don't know that. They know to a certain point, like 90s and up, but then they start rehashing and you start seeing the same type movies all the time. So I think you have to be a student of the craft. And not a lot of people that are students of the craft.
Right. Yeah. You have to study to show thyself approved. So if you want to get ahead of, when your field is saturated and you want to get ahead, you really have to take it on. Right.
Yeah.
And you have to study and indulge yourself in it. So I agree with that.
And that's in any field. We need to study. And I didn't go to film school, but I studied with people who know what they're doing. And I learned to shut my mouth, do my work, do my due diligence. And that's how you learn. And I think a lot of people they want it quickly. They want to start shooting on Monday. They want to be a star on Tuesday. And on Friday, they want to get Academy Award. It doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't. And when you listen to Denzel Washington and some of the other stars tell their stories, they went through a lot. There was a lot that led up to them getting an Oscar or Emmy or things of that nature, and it seems like people don't want to go through that part of the story. They just want the ending, and it's a lot. So when you get the Emmy, you get the Oscar, you earn it, right? You earn it.
Yeah, it's true. And it's and that's if that's what you want. Everybody doesn't want to be a huge star or Academy Award. I've been doing this for years, and I'm still not where I would like to be. But I understand it takes time. But great teamwork, time, studying, it'll work out.
So you said in the beginning that your creativity comes from you being from Kinston, North Carolina. So other than that, where does your creativity come from, your ideas?
Well, I like people. I like watching people. I'm a people watcher. People interest me. I was thinking, matter of fact, I was thinking about something earlier today. You and I were talking. And let me throw this to you for an example. I said, me and Tina sitting here talking on this platform. What if Tina, let's go into a character. Tina's this character. And Tina, through her podcast, is creating people to go out and do crazy things by subliminally talking to them on our podcast. That's a character.
Okay.
And it's like, that's a different way of doing things. Okay, Tina's like, how would you say it? You cannot bring charges against her because she's just talking. But really, she's talking people into going out and committing crimes through her podcast. Let's say you interview me today. Tomorrow I go out and rob a bank and send the money to you. You're not tied to it. You're just doing the interview. You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that, creativity, stuff like that. I mean, there's layers to those storylines, but just throwing that out for you.
I think you got that example from January the 6th. The event.
January the 6th? What do you mean January the 6th?
What Trump did when he talked to those people. I think
that wasn't subliminal. That was deliberate. That's different. That was deliberate. But you have to have a twist on it.
Okay. January 6th with a twist.
Yeah. And look, to the Secret Service, I didn't say that. Tina said
that's right.
I didn't say that. What Dave Chappelle say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth. You're so great.
I plead the fifth.
Okay, so my next question. So how does your company give back to the community?
Well, there are a lot of things that you can do in production that allow and help the community around you. I run into companies that need marketing. So I would sit down with them and say, okay, what are your marketing needs? We'll sit down and analyze it. And they might not have the budget for what they're trying to do. So I would go in and say, okay, with my team and say, okay, this is what we'll do for you. And it'll allow them to get visibility and also my company giving back to the community. So you use the talents you have to help in certain ways in the community.
Well, let's talk about something, since we're on the topic of community. Let's talk about something that I know is near and dear to your heart, and we're going to talk about it in detail. And
lasagna?
What you say?
Lasagna? I'm just messing with you.
You're supposed to behave. No, it's the Christmas thing that you do, the Christmas event that you have helped put on the last couple of years with the senior citizens. Talk about that.
Oh, Tina, that's a curveball. Okay. Oh, you're getting good at this.
But it's near and dear to your heart because you come every year.
I was visiting this center in Metro Atlanta. I won't get into names. And I noticed that there were a lot of seniors in this facility. And they were having a bingo night, a Christmas party and everything. And I saw some of the prizes that they were having for Christmas gifts. And I won't get too deep into it, but it kind of touched my heart. These are the gifts you would never think that somebody would have as a quote unquote Christmas gift for seniors. It kind of disappointed me being a young Black male in the community and seeing our seniors being neglected. So I decided to not, as my mom would say, don't talk about it, be about it, and get involved and say, what can I do to help facilitate you guys having a better Christmas and with gifts? So I reached out to a lot of my friends who own businesses, yourself included, and I asked for donations so we can give better gifts to the seniors in our community. And you guys have, with open arms, have always been there for me, reached out and gave, and it's been going on for this is a third year.
Yeah.
Third year, and they're very appreciative. And we don't do it with fanfare. I don't go and have a photo op, so to speak. We take some pictures and let them know that, this is what we're doing. I let you guys know this is what your money's going toward. Right. And they enjoy it. They really enjoy it. And I appreciate you guys for always being there and being supportive. But yeah, that's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. And I think we need to get more involved with our seniors. There's a poem that says, this African proverb says, when a senior dies, a library is destroyed. Oh, and wow. I really believe that. So when I sit down with seniors, and I have seniors that I assist, I'm not going to say help, because they help me in turn. I insist. They teach me a lot. They teach me a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things. It's helped me detour some potholes in life because of their experience. So I think that is a part to just give back. I think everybody should be able to do that.
Well, I thank you for allowing me to be involved, and the pictures that you sent us last year was just awesome. They had a real good time, and we have to give back. You're blessed to be a blessing, and
yes,
you should give back. So thank you for allowing me to participate in that last couple of years, and I will continue to do so.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really believe in it, and just like you talked about my passion for my company, I hear the joy in your voice, and I see the passion every time you come, even if it's not the holiday season and you talk about the scene. I can see that you're excited about it. So
yeah, that's something that my mom gave me. She taught me how to do, me and my brothers. So like I said, it goes back to Kinston, my hometown. So
yeah. So for those of you watching, if you have any comments for Ron or any questions, please put them in the I was gonna say in the chat box, but we're not in the chat box. put your comments down there, and we'll make sure that comments or questions, and we'll make sure that Ron gets a chance to answer them before the end of the show. Now, I wanted to ask you if there are people who are listening that are interested in starting a media company.
Okay.
What advice would you give them?
Pray. Pray without ceasing. Okay.
This is so crazy.
Love what you're doing. Make sure you get into it for the right reasons. Make sure you have a passion for what you're doing, because it's easy to get caught up in the fanfare and the lights and smoke and mirrors, and that'll sway you. You have to have a passion for it. That's the main thing. And surround yourself with the right team. I have a team of people that I surround myself with who's second to none. I trust them with everything. And they're great people. But you have to have a team. You have to do your homework. Study to show yourself approved, and find the lay of the land. Get to know people in your industry. Get to know them and see, can they help you out? You can help them out, vice versa. It takes a community for it to grow. Build good relationships. That is one of the most important thing about it. Build good relationships and have good character, because sometimes your business card will not get there before your character gets there. Oh, wow. People say, well, Tina does this, Tina does that. Before you can give them a card, they've heard about you.
Right.
So be careful about your reputation and your character. That has spoke for me in a lot of ways. As they say, it'll bring you before kings and presidents. I haven't been before kings and presidents, but a good name is better than silver and gold. So you have to realize character is very important. Study character, a good team, and study to show yourself approved.
Now, you said you haven't been in front of kings and presidents yet, but you have worked with famous people. So my question is, you don't have to name the famous person, but give us an example of a good, someone that you worked with and you had a good experience, and what you learned from him.
Tina Dawson, she's very famous. You just don't understand how huge she is. I should be paying her I should be paying her to be on her broadcast. She has an excellent studio. Look at this. Tina is on point. You guys support Tina Dawson and what she's doing. And I mean that. Hey, celebrities. You said I don't have to give names.
You don't have to give a name. I mean, if you want to, you can, but just give a good experience. Tell us about an experience that you had with the celebrity. I know you worked with quite a few, and what you learned, a good takeaway. Something that you've learned from them.
Okay. I would say this is a musician who I thought would be, the word is around town that he was hard to work with.
Okay.
And this is when I was on tour. But once I was directing on tour and he came behind the scenes and sat behind the director's chair and was talking to me and giving me advice, I was surprised how nice he was. I was surprised because I've heard the words, he's hard to deal with. He's anal retentive. He thinks he's everything. But I was shocked. Very welcoming, very helpful. I was just kind of shocked. So I'll say that.
Okay. So I would say that in summing that up, let me know if I'm wrong, that, celebrities are just people, right? They're just people that have maybe more experience. But I'm sure from the conversation you and I have had, you've approached them the same way you approach me, just common. And,
yes.
and that has really worked in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's their job. Their job is on camera, but that's their job. Some of them take it a little too far, but the majority of them don't do that. They realize there's a job, and they are contractors. When that movie's over, they're looking for some more work. Right. It's not guaranteed. Nothing in this industry is guaranteed. But I'm pretty sure people out there have some bad experiences, and I haven't been blessed not to have too many bad experiences because I'm the type of guy, I'm behind the scenes. Being on camera with you right now, you pulled me into this.
I
know. So I'm not used to being in front of the camera. And my clients will tell me, oh, you give directions. You tell us to do this, why you can't do it? It's different. I'm a director. I'm behind the scenes. But it depends on the person, Tina. It really depends on the person. Everybody's different. And some people handle themselves as professional. I've heard that Rock was a really good star. He's real humble. He comes and does his job. But it depends on the individual. It's like you going to work. There's some people at your job, you know what I'm saying, who you don't like. And there's some people you don't mind working with.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's just a different industry. It's just they're more visible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then it depends on what's going on in their life too. Because,
exactly.
You may think they're, being ugly or having a bad day, but something traumatic could have just happened.
Exactly.
In their lives, and you don't know it. So, we have to stop being so quick to judge, on the first onset of getting to know people, right? I think time is your best friend. And in time, you can see, after being around someone, you can see the truth or the authenticity of that person.
Yeah, character. Yeah.
Character. Yeah.
That's true. And like you said, you said it right. People go through different things at different times.
Yeah.
So to me, I look at it as a job. Unless I'm not really awed by people to a certain extent. I admire people, but I think the blessing is I'm not really awed by them because I see it as a job, and you know what I'm saying. And I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being creative. I enjoy working with people. I love working with teams. So I just look at it as if Tina is a big star, I'm honored to work with you, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, So you have to be level-headed a little bit.
Yeah. And those that are famous, those people that I know that are famous, when I talk to them, they don't like that. They don't they understand it.
Yes.
But they don't like the ooh and the ah, a lot, right? Yeah. Because they are out there in the public so much that they just want to be common and natural sometimes, right? And have an off switch to all of that.
So how does it feel, Tina, when you go out to eat and people come at you? How does it feel?
No, it hasn't happened yet.
It will. It will.
It's coming. I've seen it. It's coming.
It will.
okay, so I'm gonna ask my show producer. Let us know if there's any questions. You can pop them on the screen, and we'll get to the questions. But before that, go ahead and put them up there. But I'm gonna ask you another question.
Okay.
A while ago, I was talking to you, and you were into screenwriting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about that. How is that journey going?
Whew. Writing is very hard because you can have an idea of what you want, but putting it down on paper, being disciplined enough to put it down on paper and to, how would you say it? Edit it and mentally edit it is hard.
Okay.
A writer told me one time, a lot of people have great ideas, but it's putting it down on paper and executing is a problem. So
Okay.
I have characters in my head and I can see a whole movie or a whole film in my head, but the focus in writing it down, just being honest, is hard because there are a lot of things you're doing in life also. But I love it and I'm learning. I'm not there yet, but I'm learning to do it and be more disciplined at it because my ideas are flowing like, and sometimes I can get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing it. It's focusing me, as they say, Tina. It's focusing me.
So we just embarked into a new year.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you, what is the vision for your company for 2021?
2021 for Left Side of the Lion. Creative content. I'm working on some content right now that I'm creating with two of my business partners. And it's original, it's new, it's different. And that's what I'm looking for because in this industry, you can work for someone and be a cameraman or set designer or whatever. But when you create your own, and I think Tyler Perry has a great blueprint for that. Mm-hmm. He created his own content and it made a way for him to create his own studio.
Right.
So that's the thing I'm looking for is 2002 for my company is projects and creative content.
Okay. Projects and creative content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were talking about Tyler Perry. I think the main reason why he is where he is now mm-hmm. is because of the relationships. He connected with the people. He did what you said in the beginning. He closed his mouth and became a student. Mm-hmm. I know at the beginning he had some things personally that he had to deal with. And I saw the Oprah show where it was suggested to him to start journaling because journaling will help you get it out of you and on paper, right? Yep. And it helps you to release. It's a form of you releasing instead of bottling that up inside of you. And I saw that show years ago on Oprah, and I started journaling, and it really does help. And then from his relationship with Oprah, she was able to help him navigate, mm-hmm. Through the industry. But it's all about relationships, and then when he, jumped from being on the OWN network to the BET network, I thought that was a huge pivot for him, for him and for us, because we benefit because of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler is a great example for not only African American people but everybody mm-hmm. that you can start from in your car and become a successful media mogul. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to be that, but it is possible. You see that it is possible. Tyler didn't, from what I know, he didn't go to NYU. He didn't do film school. He started writing plays. Mm-hmm. So we commend Brother Tyler and what he's doing and all the stuff he's continued to do. I think he has a great mind. He's an astute business person. I mean, mm-hmm. hats off to him and those who do it too. I just saw this film from Nate Parker, American Skin. Oh mm-hmm. man, he starred in it and he was a writer in it. Great cinema. And with the onslaught of Netflix and Hulu and all the other platforms, they're allowing people to get their content out there more than ever. That usually Hollywood would have a gate. They would say, well, this is the standard we're looking for. If you don't meet these standards, you can't get in. And you might have some great material. But
Right.
now with all of these platforms, it's allowed people to showcase their talents in so many different ways, so many different cultures. You see Netflix International. Some of the highest shows now come from Europe or Asia. I mean, who would have thought? So Netflix has changed the game also. I mean, it's great. It's great.
So how have you? We talk about Netflix. I think streaming altogether with COVID-19. I saw that even AMC theaters is going to streaming. So I think COVID has opened up a lot of opportunities, even though the pandemic is bad. But I tell my kids all the time, out of every chaotic situation, there is opportunity. The question is, will you see it? Will you see it to the point where you can take advantage of it? And I think a lot of these companies like AMC, Netflix, they're starting to really understand the importance of streaming because we were stuck at home, and so I think that's getting ready to really be big.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it's already big. That's the thing about it. It is it's huge. It's changed the game, period. And financially, it changed the game in a lot of ways. Streaming is opened the doors. It's a wave that just hit and cleared out a lot of things. I think the theaters will open back up, but it's going to be a different experience. They're going to have to bring some creativity to get you back into the theaters.
Right.
And hey, that will cause them to change up and modernize themselves also.
Right.
So it's a win-win for both of them. I think both sides is a win-win.
Right. So let's talk about what since I mentioned COVID, how has the pandemic, affected your company and or your clients? What have you seen within your clients as far as the pandemic?
Well, with the COVID, of course, it slowed everything down, but it allows me to be more creative. It really hasn't slowed my clientele because the projects we're working on aren't slotted to come out till later on anyway.
Okay.
So it gives me time to rearrange things or change things. So it hasn't affected me to that extent, real bad. And then you prepare for it. You put stuff aside to make sure. You never know, because in this industry, my friend David would always say, David Ovens would say, it's a feast and famine industry.
Yeah.
So one day you may be feasting, next day you may be starving. So you have to prepare for that.
Right.
And once you prepare for it, it's not going to affect you as much, because what you guys see is onslaught of things changing. We see this all the time in production.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not hard.
Okay. So. Film festivals. Have you ever attended one? And tell us about what goes on at a film festival.
Well, film festivals, I've attended some in Miami. What goes on, new projects and maybe existing projects come together at the film festival, and they display their new projects, new scripts or movies they film, independent or non-independent, and they showcase a preview of what's to come in the movie or what's going on, what we're trying to do. I'll give you an example. The American Skin movie we were talking about, that was in a film festival.
Okay.
So it's kind of, to me, it's like a gauging thing. It's a gauging process to see how well your story will do or your film would do. Some people might be like, it's not that great. Film festivals allow you to win contests, sponsorship. You can get sponsorship from film festivals. You can get studios looking at you when you put yourself in film festivals. And you start winning awards. It gets the bigger studios' eyes on you, if that's what you want. Okay. So, and you can meet a lot of different people. You can meet new team members. You can meet a lot of people at film festivals. It's people of like minds in this industry coming together and showing their wares or what they can and cannot do on film. That's what it is. I myself, I'm not a big film festival person, because sometimes if you go to a film festival and you see something, you can kind of subconsciously put in your head and then your script changes a little.
Yeah, I can see that.
Someone would say, hey, you took that from mine. So I try not to go to too many film festivals. I used to go to them all the time, but I try not to do that because I want to keep my creativity, in a sense, open and virgin-like. I don't want nobody to say, hey, you got that from me.
Right.
So, but I'm not swaying. I'm not telling anybody not to go. I'm just not a real big film festival. I've done my film festival time. Now, when time needs to be, and I need to go to one, if I have one, you'll see me there. But for right now, I don't just go to a lot of film festivals.
Okay. Let me ask you this one question too, because I've always been always wanted to know the answer to this question. So you have some films that come out and they make it to the cinema, right? And then you have some that come out and they make it straight to, in the old term was straight to DVD, but now it's straight to Netflix. So what happens? How does that occur? That a film can go straight to cinema, and then some skip cinema and go straight to Netflix. Now I've seen a couple that, or I think I have, that have gone straight to like Netflix, but then it eventually goes to the cinema. Can that? I think I've seen that happen. I'm not really sure. So explain.
It's not. You sure that's not backwards?
Okay, well, help me out.
the purpose of going to the cinema is to make money, to get the money back that you put into this project.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy and them just went to, I think they're on Google Prime, paid $100 and something million for Coming to America.
Wow.
Because the pandemic is affecting theaters. So I'm gonna go to you. I'll go to, let's say, give me an example. I don't know exactly what they did, but you go to Netflix and say, okay, we know this is a huge movie. People are waiting to see this movie.
Okay.
And you'll get a lot of viewership. You may get people to sign up more for Google Prime just to see this movie. So Netflix, Prime, Prime will look at it and say, okay, this is a good investment. How much you put into it? We're willing to give you this amount of money for this project because we know people are not going to theaters. We'll lose money going to theaters. And it's all about money. It's all about money. You might have a project that goes straight to theaters, let's say before COVID. It's about money. It's about money, money, money. I can get more viewership in the theaters. And when they say the first week box office receipts, it made $60 million and it cost $3 million to make. That's great.
Oh, wow.
That's, if you cost $3 million to make a movie, you make $60 million, that is great. Right. But right now with this COVID situation, it's a whole different ballgame. So companies are going to, let's say I go to Tina and say, well, I saw your movie. I like it. And I'm not going to give you Coming to America money, but I might give you this for it. How much did you spend on it? You might say, it cost me, it's an independent, it cost me $4 million to make. Okay, we'll give you $10 million. It's better than nothing.
Wow. So when they give you the $10 million, do they own the rights of the show?
Depends on the contract. Everybody doesn't say it depends on the contract. That doesn't mean they own it. They may have a license for it, but if they buy it outright, then of course they own it.
Okay.
But some movies they do, some movies they don't. If you're smart, it'd be a percentage. You keep a percentage of your movie. You won't just sell it outright. Because some movies become cult classics later on.
Right.
You might have a movie and they're like, oh, and it blows up. So
I think we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
All right. So Felicia wants to know, can you give her any advice? What advice would you give a high school student interested in this field? Is college the route or trade school? That's a good question.
Well, I will say this to a high school student, and it may seem a little different, but you and I know we started out I started out also at Gospel Tabernacle Church. Church mostly have broadcast. They have broadcast equipment and everything, and you don't have to pay for it. They will train you in doing broadcasting, and maybe a small level, but it's a start. Right. If you're a high school student, you want to minimize the cost of you learning.
Right.
So when you do that, that'll help you out. They'll give you an understanding and say, well, do I really want to do this? And it's not costing you anything before you go into college. Because when you go into college and you spend all this money going to all these film schools and you realize this is not what you want to do, you got to pay that money back.
Right.
So, and there may be some film companies out there who are looking for internships. I know that's a bad word now because people are like, you don't want to pay nobody. You want to do the work, but you don't want to pay me. Find a good company and you can be an intern. That can help also. Yeah,
because knowledge is power, but applied knowledge brings transformation. So that knowledge that company, that internship allows you to get, that's knowledge that people can't take away from you.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And it's so funny that you said that because I flashed back to when I was working the camera. Because you remember I used to work the camera.
Yes, I remember you used to work the camera. And I'm like, why you got to take your shoes off? Why you got to stand on this thing? God bless his soul, Richard Flynn. Love him there. Richard Flynn taught a lot of us.
Yeah, Richard Flynn. Rest in heaven, rest in peace. Oh, Richard. Yeah. He taught all of us.
Can never forget Richard Flynn.
No, can never forget Richard Flynn.
Yeah, I remember you on camera, and I laugh when I see you on camera. I'm like, really? But was it easy?
No.
Okay.
No.
There you go.
Because you remember, they put me on the main camera, and Pastor was walking back and forth, and I don't know if you remember, I passed out on the camera.
Yeah. Well, Todd Bethel taught me this when I started working on camera. He says, widen the lens, because the preachers walk quick. Yeah. So if you widen the lens, you'll catch up with them. But if you make it small, they'll pass.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of.
They made it small for me. I'm not going to ever forget that. I was so embarrassed. But anyway.
I don't know if you remember, there's a gentleman named Sterling Milan. He used to work at Gospel Tabernacle, but now he works with Will Smith.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of people came out doing a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of people from the old days, as they say, who are doing a lot of things in media, photography. So Richard was a blessing for a lot of people, and the church was a blessing for a lot of people.
Yes, he was. Even though I'm not behind the camera anymore.
Thank God.
I respect it. I've been there. I've worked it. I understand. So I respect it. Okay, I think we got one more question. We're almost finished. We got one more question. All right. So Rebecca wants to know, in order to work on films here in a background role, do you have to become part of one of the unions? Good question.
Well, a lot of people would tell you have to be a part of the union, because the thing about Atlanta, like Tyler Perry was godfathered in. That means he didn't have to pay union fees at first. Okay. Not saying that he wasn't, but he was grandfathered in. So nowadays, I think Georgia's coming more of a union state. I would suggest that to protect yourself. I would definitely protect, or you can go find someone, again, relationships. Find someone who's doing that, and you may can get on the set without being union at first.
Okay.
Again, you might not like it because there's some long hours and a lot of, they say, sitting and waiting a lot on set, behind the set. And you might not get a peep on camera. They might edit you out. You know what I'm saying? So there's no guarantee. But if you really have a passion for it, find someone who does it and ask them. Because everybody's different. I'm not going to say I know everything about production in Atlanta. So ask someone who knows, because I've never been an extra. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who can get you in the door before you become SAG qualified or whatever.
Okay. Well, Ron, I have really enjoyed this interview. And yes, it was a pull.
It was a pull.
It was a pull to get you.
Okay, can you unlock these chains now? Can I get free?
Yes, sir. You can get free. Thank you so much. I hope that the viewers have been inspired and found this information informative. This is Ron Worthem with the Left Side of the Lion. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram. His information is in the ticker tape. And Ron, I just want to say thank you for over 27 years of friendship. And I thank you for investing in this new vision of mine. And I thank you for just being a part of the family. And I love you dearly.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. It won't happen again, but I thank you.
You're so silly. Everybody, we thank you for attending tonight's show.